So, I think the good news, despite all this stuff, I do think the good news is that things are slowly opening up, and I think that I have faith. Who knows what's going to happen, but I have faith that there is going to be live music and live events and live comedy because there's movie theaters opening up. I don't know if you're aware of that. So that's a good sign because that's like an indoor entertainment thing. What are your plans going forward, like when things start opening up? And are you going to be working like with Forbidden Tropics, your band, or are you going to be starting any other like solo, like are you going to be doing a lot of solo performances and stuff like that?
My goal would be to tour the U.S. with Forbidden Tropics. That's something I would like to do. Right now we're working on new music and hopefully release a single and ideally release a full album sometime next year. I happen to know some people in California that could probably help us get some gigs over there.
In California?
Yeah.
Damn.
So it'd be nice to get the full band play over there, but as of right now, we have to take one step back and just work on our own music.
Yeah. So have you ever been in a band, like a situation where you've been touring the country, or has your band ever toured out of state or anything, or this would be a whole new experience for you?
I went on tour for the first time last year. I was playing with a rock band, and we went to North Carolina for 4 or 5 days. That was a good experience. We played a bunch of venues in the area, and people seem to like the music. Yeah.
Wow.
I wish it would have been longer, but that's how it went.
So from what I've seen from like your Instagram and everything, you travel a decent amount. Like every year you travel. You probably didn't travel this year though, right?
No.
But
I went to California.
Oh, yeah.
In January, yeah.
How was that?
It was great. I got to meet some of the people from Godan Guitars, and I got my endorsement. So now
you got an endorsement from a guitar company?
So now I'm a Godan artist.
Oh, how does that work?
The way it works is my name is on their website, so they have a list of all the people that they endorsed. And for the most part, every time I release new music, they share it, or any video that I upload on social media, they share it on their page. So I get a lot of exposure. That's
awesome. Mm-hmm. So it's basically like you show their guitars, like you're using their guitars, and they show your music. That's a really good partnership. Yeah, that's a really good way. I feel like a lot of people are doing things these days. Like there's a lot of like girls on Instagram like modeling clothes. Like seriously, there's a lot of like girls.
Oh yeah.
Like modeling
those girls.
Clothes. Yeah. Those girls, you know, the ones that have a fancy quote, you know, but it's really just about the outfit or the cleavage or whatever like that. So, yeah. But no, it's a good partnership, like because you're helping each other out, you know. Yes. So it works for both of you. Mm-hmm. And what kind of guitar is this today?
Well, this is not a Godan guitar. This is actually the oldest guitar that I have. This is from 1981.
Holy moly.
It's a Guild, and it's my favorite. Yeah.
Aw, so you brought your favorite guitar here today.
That's right.
You must have really trusted that it wouldn't rain, or that I wasn't like a psycho, that I was going to smash it or something like that. So that makes me feel
never
honored.
know.
That makes me feel, you never know. Guitar smashing.
Yeah.
Like, do you know anybody who does guitar smashing? Like, is that a thing? Like, have you witnessed that, or is that just a thing from the 80s?
I hope it's just a thing from the 80s. I don't think I've seen anybody doing that. I work at a guitar store, and
do you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I work in the mornings at a guitar store in Edison. I don't know. I don't feel real uncomfortable seeing people just smashing guitars.
I was going to say, because like that's what made me think of it, because I'm like, somebody who has so much love and respect like for your old guitar, like do you know why that was a tradition? Like from someone who plays guitar, did you ever read up on that? Like, why was that a tradition? Was it just a way to be flashy and say like, I have a lot of money, I could buy this guitar over and over again? Or what the hell was that all about?
I mean, you must have money to break your guitar.
To be able to just...
If you are, a poor working musician, I don't think you would break your instrument, because that's how you make money.
I know. If I ever saw somebody smash a piano, I would... First of all, somebody would probably die, because a
piano is much heavier to carry, for sure.
I don't think anybody could lift that. You would need to, like, get some type of equipment to do that. But not only that, but like I would cry if I saw somebody break a piano. Yeah. That would be devastating. Or a keyboard, or even a keyboard for that matter. Unless it was a really shitty keyboard, because they do break sometimes. So.
Yeah, I think instruments become an extension of us. And breaking something like that, it's more like...
That's an interesting thing you bring up, because I used to be... Okay, so what's your opinion on this? Acoustic versus electric. When I was younger, I only liked acoustic pianos, like real wooden or whatever pianos, because I felt like it was an extension of me. Like, whatever I touch, the piano is so sensitive to what I'm doing, versus an electric keyboard, which it depends on the quality of the keyboard. You can hit it so many ways and it might sound the same. So what do you think of that?
It almost feels like two different instruments.
Yeah.
The way I approach this instrument is very different from an electric guitar.
Yeah.
Because an electric guitar, the sound mainly comes out of the speaker. This one doesn't have a speaker, it's just the body.
Yeah.
So even though I'm dealing with strings, the touch has to be different. You know, I personally prefer acoustic instruments because with an electric instrument, I don't know, you can always fake things and you can cover some of your mistakes. This is a true reflection of what you do.
That's what I've noticed about piano. And like, I've learned, like, because of like dating Robbie, you know, my boyfriend Robbie is really big into electronics and he's not really into acoustic pianos at all. So I used to be kind of like against electric keyboards, but after dating him, I've gained a new respect for keyboards and I love keyboards now and I have a nice Yamaha and everything. But there is something about an acoustic instrument that, like, exactly like you worded it, you couldn't have worded it more perfectly. It's like a reflection of everything, like your feelings, your emotions, your touch. You know, if you're tense on an acoustic guitar, it'll sound like garbage. But if you're tense on a keyboard, electric guitar, it might not. Maybe it will, but it might not sound that different.
Yeah. Not only that, but with the acoustic instruments, I feel that the more you play it, the better they sound.
Yeah.
Whereas with an electric instrument, it's always going to sound the same. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if Robbie was here right now, Charlie, like I like to call him, if Charlie was here right now, he would probably yell at us and explain to us why we're being stupid.
I mean, I'm not against with the idea of using electronic instruments because it takes a skill to learn how to play those instruments properly. But I just have a preference on the acoustic instruments. Something
that kind of like blew my mind or changed my mentality too. I wouldn't say change because I still like agree with you about the acoustic thing, but like, when I was much younger, I used to be against technology. I didn't even have a smartphone until I was like 27. I swear to God, I was like an old lady. And then I realized that I wouldn't be able to survive. Like, for example, if I didn't have a smartphone right now, I couldn't make money because I'm teaching online. I'm doing a lot of things online. But there was like once upon a time where I was really fearful of technology. And because of that, which led me to the conclusion of why I think that acoustic instruments are so much better. But then, like, when I got older, I realized that, well, technically, why isn't an electric instrument natural or a part of nature? I mean, it's not like, oh, this didn't come from the earth. Like, everything that was put into creating an electric instrument still had to come from some elements of the earth. So therefore, isn't technically, I mean, this is getting philosophical, but isn't technically everything that we do as humans natural because it came from us? You know what I mean? It's kind of like a philosophical question or an opinion, but...
Yeah, it's I just prefer the acoustic overall.
You're just like I don't give a fuck. I just prefer the acoustic no matter what you say.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different approach, like I said, with anything that's technology based. Yeah.
What about electric acoustic? Is that a thing?
An instrument that's acoustic electric. I mean, it also has an acoustic sound, but its main focus may not necessarily be to have the best acoustic sound possible. Yeah. They have an electronic, so it's plugged in. It's not even the same, you know. Not as good as miking the guitar, or when you go to a classical concert, you know, they mic the violins. They don't have a violin with a pickup, you know. It's not the same.
So they mic it? Is that how they would do it? They would mic it?
To get the best sound possible, yes. Better than a pickup, yeah.
So I wonder in, like, for example, like something big like Carnegie Hall, like if they had an acoustic guitarist, they would just have like a mic and they would have some type of speaker system to get it out there?
I think they do the same thing with a piano, right? Then they put a microphone inside.
I never even what's crazy is I never even thought about that or even noticed it. Like when I've seen those type of piano concerts, I mean, I've seen a lot of them at my university, so I feel like at that level they didn't need a mic because it wasn't big enough. But if it was like a giant hall like that, and I've been to concerts like that, I never even noticed the mic. That's insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like never even thought about it. Like I thought that maybe the acoustics would be big enough in a place like that, but definitely maybe for a piano, maybe definitely not for guitar though. Guitar would be way too small.
Yeah, that's true.
And what's the biggest audience you've had so far performing? Like festivals, maybe?
I play so many shows.
You can't remember anymore?
Well, there's one that I remember with my previous band. We played at a festival in South Jersey. It was a 3-day festival, and it was funny because we were supposed to play on a smaller stage. This festival had 3 stages. Somehow we ended up playing at the main stage because one of the bands dropped out, never showed up. So they told us, you guys want to play at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night? And we did it, you know. A lot of people were drunk and everything. It was like our little Woodstock for us. They were like, I don't know, like 300-400 people.
Do you ever get nervous on stage, or like would that make you nervous, or you're kind of so used to performing now that you're just over that?
I don't like looking at people when I play. I really
don't mean to laugh at you. I'm just like, it's funny.
I think it's distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that maybe from the audience perspective, they would like the musician to jump and run and do these crazy things, but they don't see how difficult it is to play an instrument the right way and all the focus that you need to have in order to do what you have to do.
I feel the same way about singing, like, because I've taken some singing classes, and a lot of criticism that I would get is like, look at the audience. And I'm just like, if I was in the audience, I mean, this is just me, but if I was in the audience, I would not want like the singer to be like staring into my soul. Like that would make me so uncomfortable. I've been trying to look more at the camera when I do like online performances and stuff like that. But like even in this song, I think my eyes were closed or I was looking away. That would creep me out. Like if I was, I mean, in a big audience, you can obviously look at the audience because you're not really looking at anybody. If you were like a big time performer, but for like a room full of like 20 people, like I would be so uncomfortable if like
yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the musician.
Yeah. But even for like the audience perspective, I would be creeped out personally. Yeah. Or like if you were playing guitar and like looking into my eyes, like as you play guitar, I'd be like, dude, leave me the fuck alone.
It's happened before, so I know what you mean.
It's happened to you, or you've done it to people?
Oh, it's happened to me before. No. If anything, if I look, when I go to a concert, and if I really like how that musician is playing, I might just look at his hands, not so much his face. Yeah.
You can kind of like, there's a lot of, because I do watch your performances online, and you don't, not that I was like objectifying and looking really that deeply, but now that I think about it, I don't see you staring at the camera. I see you kind of like grooving and just being natural. But you can kind of tell like the spirit of the person performing, and you can tell when some people are like trying to be arrogant when like, do you know what I mean? Like when some people perform, they're trying to be arrogant, like the way they
to show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody's different. They all have their own way to promote themselves.
Yeah.
But I just try to express whatever I feel at the moment. Yeah. Not necessarily showing off, but that just because we're all different every day. Even if we're playing this same song we just play, if you play it tomorrow, it's probably going to sound different.
Completely different,
yeah.
That's one of the hardest things about being a live performer, but it's also a beautiful thing too.
It is.
Yeah. That is very cultural.
I think that keeps things interesting, you know. Why would you go to a concert and see the same person twice if the concert is going to be exactly the same?
Or like when people use auto-tune on their voice and everything. That's the thing with
technology.
Yeah. It's like it creates this need for perfection, because like when I understand that if you're recording an album, you want it to be perfect, but even like live performances now online, like you can use auto-tune like in your singing, and you can use different techniques and everything like that.
The way I think of the auto-tune is almost like a filter for a selfie. You take a selfie, you look a certain way, but then you somehow try to enhance it or make it better by putting all these filters, and in the end that person is not you anymore.
Oh my god.
But that's the one you want to portray to the people.
Joe Rogan, like people will probably get annoyed at me talking about Joe Rogan. He's one of my biggest podcasting influences, why I started doing this podcast. But so he's this man who's like extremely muscular. If you don't know Joe Rogan, he's like extremely muscular. You know, he's in his 50s. He has like veins in his forehead. He doesn't like he's a good looking man, but he doesn't look like a woman. Let's just put it that way. So this doesn't make sense. This isn't going to make sense till I get to the end of the story. So he was trying to like showcase what selfies are capable, what filters are capable of this day. So he took a selfie of himself in some type of filter or some type of face tuning app, and he put it online, and he looked like a hot girl. So tell me how this like middle-aged, balding, muscular man looked like a model, like from his, and it was so creepy. Like you have to look at his Instagram, Joe Rogan, to see what I'm talking about. But it's just like he shows the before and after, and in the before his eyes are bulging and like his veins are bulging, and in the after it's like he looks like this gorgeous like model that any guy would be happy to date. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when people try to look a certain way, you know, physically or musically speaking, they tend to fail. It is much easier to portray what you are than trying to look like somebody else or sound like somebody else.
Yeah, that's a really good point. A lot of people are influenced by other people, and you can almost tell like the difference between somebody trying to mimic somebody or somebody being authentically themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
A really good point.
I gave up, for example, on playing with a guitar pick a while ago, and by doing that, it's hard for me to solo fast on the instrument. But at the same time, it gives me a different approach to my instrument, you know? But I think that's what makes me different. I'm not saying I'm better. It's just that you need to find something that's going to make you stand out.
When I first started singing, that was one of the things that I figured out too, is like trying to find my own voice. I would sort of get like I feel like I have a very particular voice that I'm not belty. I'm not this like gospel-y loud singer. I have like a more soothing voice, and then I would listen to other singers and be like, damn it, like why can't I belt this? Why can't I belt that? And then I just kind of learned to like work with what I am. It's what it is, you know? I can't change what I am. I have a lower range, you know, for a female. There's a couple influences I could look up to. Billie Holiday, she has like a lower voice. She's somebody I look up to. I look up to the pop singer Billie Eilish. I love her. She has like kind of a similar, like she hits the high notes, but only in her head voice, and I'm like the same way. I can't like really belt the high notes. So I know what you mean. It's like when I first started singing, I would kind of compare myself to other singers and be like, why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? And it's taken some time to just accept like, this is my singing voice. Like I can't fight it, you know?
Yeah, I think we all borrow things from everybody, but when you mix them up, what comes out is you. When you just listen to one person, you're going to sound like that person. But when you have all these people coming at the same time from all your influences, it's like a mixture of everything, and that's Andrea.
That's so funny. That's exactly what we said in my last podcast with Seth. We were talking about that, how like everybody's unique, but they're also not. Like they're unique, but what makes them unique is exactly what you said, not being just like one person that's copying somebody, but having your influences and them all, like you just said, like all meshing together to create one unique individual. And that's what, so good point. We said that in the last podcast too. So yeah, so cultural.
So cultural. Yeah.
So we're going to finish up this podcast today. Would you like to finish with something, or?
I could.
I would love that.
All right.
Yes, that is Alejandro Ataucusi. Wait, say it the proper way. I'm an idiot.
Ataucusi.
Ataucusi. That is Alejandro Ataucusi, the band leader of Forbidden Tropics. And let us know where we can find you. If we are inspired by your music, where can we find you?
Well, you can follow my band Forbidden Tropics official on Instagram, and my personal Instagram is Alejandro Ataucusi, which is Ataucusi. I thought I should spell it because if I say my last name, people are gonna be like, "What?"
Wait, spell it again so everybody knows.
So it's Alejandro, Alejandro, and then Ataucusi, which is Ataucusi.
Yes, Alejandro Ataucusi, everybody. So we'll see you again in a couple weeks. We still don't have a name for this podcast. So if anybody has any ideas for me, right now I just call it Pranzata Podcast, but I want to have like a catchier cultural type of name. So if anybody has any suggestions, leave that in the comment section below. And I'll see you in a few weeks with another guest. And it was so much fun to have Alejandro here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.